Welcome everyone to
Hello.
East Rock Creek Village's house review, all about paper with Judy Tiger. Today is August 22nd, 2024. And we just are very grateful to have Judy back with us. She did a wonderful program back in January that is also recorded on our YouTube channel. And we just want to welcome everyone to East Rock Creek Village's opportunity to learn and grow together. So let's see, today, Judy, I'm going to spotlight you, and then when you're ready, we'll put the PowerPoint up.
All right, I am ready.
Welcome. Thank you. All right.
And thank you, Shelley, for doing this.
It's our pleasure.
Thank you.
All right. Can everyone see that? You can minimize the little video film strip type thing by hitting one of those little buttons at the top of the film strip thing, and that way you can minimize give you as much room to see the slides.
Yeah, and you should be able to see all of it because it's all going to be to the left of that little strip.
Great.
Yeah.
Excellent. So Judy, it's the floor and the computer is all yours.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me here today. I'm Judy Tiger. I'm your neighbor. I live in Takoma DC, and my company is Just That Simple. And today we're going to talk about papers. Next. And my thanks to Shelley for managing the slides for me. So some of you may have met me in January, but quickly about me. I'm a former Foreign Service kid and went to GW, got a degree in anthropology. And as I look back, I see that I have had 3 completely different careers in organizing. I used to, in the way back when, I worked on traditional music folk festivals. And then I was citywide coordinator for community gardens in DC and ran a nonprofit. And now I organize homes. So I see there's a through line there that I didn't even know existed until I started this career. I'm a member of a couple of national organizations and a few local ones. And what I love is that being a member of those, I am constantly learning, and also they keep me in line. As a member, especially of NAPO, I have very strict ethical guidelines, so everybody's secrets are safe with me. And when I'm with my clients in every job, I just love how they're all different, and I love the challenge and the creativity, and I love, as I say there at the bottom, I really am not a house beautiful girl. Don't care. I mean, I do care, but I'm not about the magazine shoot. My goal for everyone is a beautiful life. Next, Shelley. So since this presentation was titled House Review: Taming Papers, I thought I would explain what is house review. And the longer I do my work, I find that so many people are stressed and overwhelmed when I talk to them. They are the prospect of decluttering, even just to enjoy their home, or because something has changed, or because they're changing, or their energy has changed, or any kind of changes. Can't reach up as high anymore, can't reach down low, can't see through the thicket of things, or they're downsizing to move. Next slide. So first you have all that stress and overwhelm, and then the longer I do this, I find people wait entirely too long to deal with their things. I'm not sure what they're waiting for, but I do understand it's not the funnest thing, or they think it won't be fun. So I coined this term, house review. Instead of decluttering or organizing, I call it house review. And it's just an invitation, friendly invitation to look in every nook and cranny of your home, every shelf, drawer, cabinet, closet, see what's there, see if you need it, see if it fits or not. Move it to the room where it really belongs, and ultimately get it so everything fits in your space, everything's easy to find, easy to reach, easy to use, and to be able to put it away again. So my goal for everyone is safety and peace of mind. Next, Shelley. So that gets us to today, because certainly house review is a big, huge topic. And today we're just going to talk about papers. We're going to talk a little bit about my basic recipe for success, talk a little bit about different types of papers, where to manage the papers, and some supplies. I'll let you know also that I had created last time I created my little favorite products handout, and Shelley can email it to you if you would like that. But I'm also going to show you some of those supplies when we talk today. And then to note that we are not going to talk about scanning or digitizing or interacting with our computers, just a different topic. So today we're just going to talk about papers. Next. And even that is a big topic, so I want you to consider this a kind of an overview. We may or may not cover every topic that's of interest or need to you. We'll just set some groundwork, and we'll have time for questions, and then we can talk a little more about the details that are important to you. And of course, you're welcome to reach out to me afterwards. Next. So I'm always the one with the recipes. So success with papers is a mix of mindset, categories of paper, location for dealing with papers, and supplies that are helpful. Next. So mindset, here you go. Mindset is the most important part, and that's you. It all starts with you. So it's no small feat, and you are the most key ingredient. Okay, next. So mindset number one, be kind to yourself and your family. Create routines to manage papers so everyone can find them. Bills are paid on time and other deadlines are met. You put papers away where you need them to be, and the papers don't overtake your house or your state of mind. Next. Be realistic. Set aside the time and space you need to manage papers. Be consistent, and don't wait to feel like managing papers. This I will add. By the way, these mindset items are the same everywhere in your house, but today we're talking about papers. Kicker with any kind of organizing is that people will talk to me about, I don't know how to get motivated. I don't feel, they ask a lot of questions. And over the years, my idea is that there's no waiting to be motivated. If you're asking, you are motivated. You're just overwhelmed, or you don't want to. And no surprise about that. So I say, don't wait to feel like it, just choose it, and use your calendar to schedule reasonably short times when you'll have energy and focus, i.e., don't do this after dinner. Don't do this after you went for a long walk and had lunch with a friend. The trick is to do it before you get to go have lunch with your friend or go for a walk. All right. Be fierce, and don't keep papers you don't really need. Next. Then back to reward yourself. So in line with not waiting to be motivated or to want to, and scheduling before you have something to do, this is a brilliant habit about any kind of organizing is small rewards. Organize or manage papers before you call your friend, before that TV show, before you take a nap. And a very high reward is leaving the house. So if you have an errand, a walk, that's brilliant, because once the door closes right behind you, boom, it's over. So after you work on the papers, then a small reward. Be resilient, and if whatever routine you have doesn't work for you, just change it a bit and it'll work better for you. Okay, next. All right, so what kind of papers are there? And this is a bit of a minefield. We all have different points of view about how to describe this, but we all have mail to open. We all bring home mail, different sorts, receipts, newspapers, etc. We have, and amongst those papers, we have papers to act upon in various different ways. And then at some point we have papers that we've handled, and then they need to be filed, recycled, or shredded. So there, you may have other ways to think about this, but this is the broadest set of kind of categories. Okay, Shelley, next. All right, so location, location, location. So understand where you need to keep the papers so that you can find them, get stuff done, put the papers away, find the papers again, and keep the papers from cluttering the whole house. Next. Okay, location number 1 is the central action zone. Kind of a fancy name for any easy reach place where you can put the unopened mail and any other papers that are going to need some kind of action. An easy place to sort the papers by whatever action that is, and then an easy place to take that action. Next. So where is that? Theoretically, it could be the top of your desk, but not everybody has a desk. So I try not to assume that everyone does have a desk, but we use the desk as an idea name. So ideally the top of your desk, not the dining room table, kitchen counter, coffee table, bedside table, bed, or anywhere where those papers are going to get forgotten, mixed up, or generally cause mayhem. And then as to the never anywhere where safety is a concern. Not the floor or stairs that you can trip over, not the stove or the oven or a radiator or space heater where there could be a real danger. Okay, next. Then you have something I refer to as a reference zone or a resource zone. That just means you handled papers and then you need to find them reasonably often. And big topic, we could go on and on about this, but if you imagine that you're in a room and you're reaching for information, you want to look up something about East Rock Creek Village, you're looking up something about your tennis club, you're looking for addresses, you're looking for current financials, you're looking for current medical records. That's what that is. Then another big topic, but maybe if there's room in this reference zone, you might keep what I call the really hot papers, your estate papers and your vital docs. Yes, they could be in a locked box or safe or this or that, but that's a whole nother discussion, even unto itself, exactly where you keep those papers. But if you keep them in the reference resource area, other people can find them readily. All right, so where is that? Typically, again, if we're using the desk as an idea, because not everyone has a desk, but it's either in the file drawer of your desk, if it will fit there, or it could be very close by, so you can stand up and walk over to it really easily and find the information that you needed. Next. All right, and then finally, I just call this the archive zone. It just means that this is the area where you do have papers, and you do need to keep them, but you're really not reaching for them often or hardly at all. It just not often. You do not want them to be right smack in the action zone or getting muddled with those resource papers that you're so readily reaching for. So that could be older taxes, professional education materials, memorabilia, and then you may have many other categories that would fit into that. Where is it? Again, either a filing cabinet or file boxes, either in that same room, but not right under your elbow where they're getting in the way, maybe in a different room or across the room. And then by all means, please understand that heat and humidity really can damage papers. So the attic and basement are sadly not a good idea for keeping any kind of papers, and certainly not your family memorabilia or photographs. Again, a big topic. And lots can be said later or some other time about the older the papers, be they personal or photographs, exactly what kind of boxes you use, archival paper boxes, for handling them properly. Big other topic, but again, I know some about that. All right, next. And then finally, the disposal zone. It just means that it's the area that you're going to put papers that you're completely done with and you're going to recycle them or shred them. And typically it's right kind of at your ankles next to the central action zone. So you can just turn and put the papers there. I do find it important to say that it's good to have a recycling bin or bag or something right where you are taking action, so you don't confuse up those recycling papers and you do not put them in the trash can so that then you're having to separate that out. Your goal is to make each part of this as seamless and easy for you as possible. We don't like to make things, we don't do well when things are hard for us. With regard to the shredding, you would want the bag to look very different than your recycling bag, right? And then you want to be sure you also put a label on it, so you don't get yourself confused and you know which papers need to be shredded. Okay, next. All right, and some big tips. It is a great idea to empty your purse or briefcase of all those papers that you brought home every single day, so you're not lingering and managing to carry them around. They can get confused as to where they are. Good to put the unopened mail and receipts and action papers directly into that action zone right then, and not somewhere in the house. And then to put separately in a different location anything that I call, it's just read me. It's just a name, so that it's not smack in the action zone. It's just anywhere where you will actually sit and read it, like a newspaper, magazine, or letters that you got. Why? Just so you're not cluttering up the action zone, and you know the difference between sit and enjoy and read and take some action. Okay, next. All right, supplies. So I'm just going to chat a teeny bit about supplies. I did create a handout that Shelley can email you. It's just my favorite little ones, and I'm going to show you a couple of things now. Letter opener, nothing to see there. Scissors, nothing really to see. Stapler, nothing to see. Paper clips, I'm a lover of cute, pretty ones. Why not? We should be happy when we do papers. And then I use third cut folders. Ooh, you can't really see them that well. Manila folders. So I use those. And I use a shred if I just have a little bit of information to knock off of a document. I might use this, or I might set a document aside for to put in a shredder. But once I did this, I could put it in recycling. My favorite erasers, we need to enjoy what we do. So pencils, you'll see in my list, I have an exact type of mechanical pencil I enjoy, so that I always have a pencil near me. And I used to use a regular pencil and a pencil sharpener. I find so many clients that don't have the pencil sharpener, but they have 25 pencils, and then they're not sharp, and then they don't use them, and then the eraser is dead. Have the tools you need so you can enjoy the best possible. Then I use 2 different kinds of retractable markers. I use them because you don't have to put the top down and then lose that. All right, enough of that for the moment. All right, and next slide. I will also add that here's the thing about supplies. I have sort of, not one of each, but 1 or 2 of whatever I need right at hand. And all the extras are completely across the room organized in boxes in a closet, so that I can go fetch if I need them, but they're not strangling my desk. Again, I repeat this because I see so many places where there's 50 pens and half of them don't work. And every time something is difficult, we have trouble doing just the thing we need to do. So I'm like, have a few supplies in hand, put all the extras far away. Okay, next. All right, more big tips. Don't buy a lot of fancy boxes and bins and thises and that's until you know exactly what you need. You know exactly where you would put it. Maybe you've experimented with a couple of those Amazon boxes you got, and you've gone, this would work. And then you go shopping so that you know what you like and where you're going to put it. While you might like to color code, it is really complicated, and it gets really complicated buying files. So I'm a big believer in the manila, plain old manila, because you just have a box of file folders and you know what you've got. Then I have a term that I call flow folders. It's for temporary folders. So you don't have to write with a pen and then like, oops, now I killed that file. So you use a pencil, and when you're done capturing those papers with whatever your action was, you can erase and reuse. And you don't really need to show the big screen here, but I write in huge block letters. Even if that's not my natural handwriting, really big letters, because we need all the help we can get. And when you have a habit of labeling huge, then you can see quickly, what is that folder, and is that the one I needed? So pencil when you're starting, pen or marker when you know exactly what your system is and you're keeping the folders. All right, next. Okay. I will also add, you can just hold that slide right there, but I'm going to add that I have a particular kind of calendar I like, which it's on the list. And I little bit of a Goldilocks girl, and I tried many different ones. It has great lines, and it's very lightweight. Again, you can ask me about calendars another time. So what about shredding? I have had some clients who, once a piece of mail comes, they insist that paper needs to be shredded, or they need to use their roller to take their name and address off of every single piece of paper. I think people should be comfortable. So if you'd like to do that, you should. But do remember that your name and address are kind of everywhere these days, and not likely that if it's just say a charitable donation or a magazine or something that anyone is going to be able to make any kind of identity theft out of that. But what you should shred without a doubt is anything that has an account number. So it's going to be medical or financial, and that's no matter how old those papers are. Your uncle's banking information from the 1960 from 5 states away, it all needs to be shredded. And I am just superstitious enough that if I have an envelope from a financial institution, just what's it bank and client name, that paper gets shredded. Because I don't want to find out how energetic someone is. So if it's financial and a name, I will shred that, even though it didn't have an account number. So I'm a little bit fierce about that. All right, moving on. So what to do if you don't have a shredder? Lots of people don't. I don't have a shredder either at this point. So there are many community shred events, and usually you can just roll right up with 3 or 5 boxes of paper. They all have their routines and they're free, and you can stand and watch the papers be shredded. There are companies that shred that also offer shredding services. You can take papers to the 3 that I've listed, and they all charge different amounts. UPS charges by the pound, and you cannot see it be shredded. Patriot Shredding has a free drop-off containers, but you can't see it shredded. Clean Cut Shredding, no, I have it backwards. Clean Cut offers you the drop-off, but you can't watch it be shredded. Patriot Shredding every Saturday, 9 to 12, $10 a box, and you can stand there and watch it be shredded. So it's up to you what is important to you. And honestly, I did not include the DC free shredding because it's confusing right now as to exactly where you take it and when, since we lost our beloved first Saturday shred at Fort Totten. I think they'll bring it back sometime, but right now we don't have that.
Yeah.
Now,
you can say, just for village members, if there is a DC shredding event and you want support to be able to have boxes delivered, we offer that as a service for members on so.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'd also like to ask, also for DC, for ERCV village members, we have a shredder in our office. If you would like to have it for a week, just call up the number and we'll bring it to you. We use it once a year. So
Cool.
okay.
That's fantastic. So one more thing to know about shredding is that if you have, you can have a company such as Patriot that I've used come to your house, pull up their truck, and stand there, and you can watch them shred, watch the papers go up in the shredding truck right there. It becomes cost effective when you hit about 10 bankers boxes of papers, but they'll come for less boxes. They're just going to charge their minimum fee. And it's a fantastic service. I mean, it's just fantastic. And I have done that a good number of times with clients when we've been cleaning out the years and years of papers. Okay, next. All right, so what about, this is a big topic, what about paper retention? How long am I supposed to keep those papers? And it's different for taxes, capital home repair receipts, which you should be keeping, all the home purchase, many different kinds of papers that you're keeping. And there are good paper retention guidelines on the internet, but for financial or legal papers, I'm not licensed to, I have a lot of information about it and opinions on how long things should be kept. But given that I'm not licensed and I'm just an organizer, you should ask a CPA or a lawyer or your investment manager or your financial planner about those financial documents. but you can also ask me if you want to. Next slide. All right, so I've been talking fast today. I want you to remember that all organizing, even with papers, is what I call a self-defense sport. And it's good for you and your health and wellness. And I might add, good for your family. So the more you do it, the better you get. And it's a kindness all around. So I didn't realize how quickly I was going to talk my way through this. I usually have way too many slides and it takes too long. But now we can open for questions and let's see. All right. Carol has a question.
Unmute. Carol, you can unmute and I will.
I gotta unmute myself, sorry. Can you hear me?
You're doing
Yep.
good. I'm
Okay,
gonna,
there is a shredding on September 21st at the DC shredding from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the tennis court parking lot at 16th and Kennedy. My question, I've never been there before and I've never done it. It says 3 to 5 boxes. I've got questions. Do they have to be in boxes? Can they be in a paper bag? And
Hey.
2, how do you present them? Do they have to, can you keep them in the envelopes? Does everything have to be in 8 by 11 sheets?
Oh.
How do you do that?
In general, I will comment first and then others may have comment. In general, imagine what can go into a machine. Their truck is going to be more powerful than any shredder in your office. Probably can just be in the envelope. Probably does
Okay.
not need to be in a box. What the reason they're saying 3 to 5 boxes is to suggest a relatively uniform idea of the maximum volume. So if you think of a banker's box, which is like that, the Xerox box from when you used to see in the office the reams and reams of paper in a Xerox box, it's about that big of a box. So, and they're easier to carry, a little bit easier to carry in a box. But if you have them in bags and the bags are behaving, then you translate that. So it could be 5 or 6 bags, just depends on how you're hefting them around.
And these shredding machines will take the envelope and everything? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And when you use, like, if you were doing this for home preparation, and you were putting them in boxes that are relatively like a banker's box, you best take off the rubber band. So like if there's a clump of papers, I'm just responding to more than that.
Right.
Take the rubber band off, but you can leave paper staples and paper clips. And I will usually take off the binder clip. These are some fierce machines. So
I just want to comment because I've taken things in envelopes before, and typically they'll just dump what's in the envelope into the bin that they have, and if you want the envelope back, they'll give it back to you, sort of thing.
Okay.
They don't make a big deal about it. But also, I went to the last event, and there were so many people. People said that they had been in line for 3 hours trying to get in with their goods. So what I ended up doing was parking, and I didn't have a whole lot, and I just walked it over, and they took it that way as well. So I just want to warn you that if you get there, like, because I got there around about 1 o'clock, well, maybe 12:30, 1 o'clock, and it was very packed. So you might want to go super early if you're going to participate.
Yeah, and that's why they, for quite a long time before they closed for Taunton for renovations, that's why they stopped all of the community shreds at Carter Barron, because it was causing traffic jams and a whole nightmare. But until they get that resettled, at least there is shredding. Yeah. And if it's very important to you to stand at the foot of the truck and look at their little mirror doohickey, is they put the papers in what looks like a trash can. It's about that shape. They open a door, put it in, it goes up an elevator and flips. And if it's really important to you to see little grindy things happen, then you have to figure out your own personal logistics about where you're standing and how you're looking hopeful and waiting to watch your trash can of papers. It won't be only your papers, but the trash can that you see them put it in, go up. Well, good. You can if you want. I'm just saying that's how it works.
Cool. Thank you.
Great.
And is that at 16th and Kennedy? You said that takes place at 16th and Kennedy?
Yes, at the tennis, it's supposed to be at the tennis court parking lot.
Okay.
That's Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
know where
it's
that is. Yes. And
you
it
can
happens
enter
to,
through Colorado. That's Carter Barron, but the tennis courts
Oh.
are further up
Oh,
actually between Kennedy and Colorado.
oh,
okay, Kennedy and
Actually,
Colorado.
where are the ERCV picnic is right across there is the tennis courts, and that's the tennis court. Those are the tennis parking lot. So I assume it's going to be in there somewhere. That's what it
Okay.
stated on the information I saw.
okay.
And how often do they do it? Is it
I don't
once?
know. I missed the June one. There was supposedly
Okay.
one in June, I think, but that's why I made a point that September 21st is going to be the next one.
September 20th.
Yes, we will put them in the newsletter as we know when they're coming. And we try to put in these, there are other shredding events quite often, but often we don't know until just a few days ahead. The
Yes.
church had one last weekend.
Right.
In our area. So we'll try, but those ones we will know, and I believe it's going to be once a quarter, but that's definitely not often enough. Because it's
Yeah.
not just shredding. This is the place for all the paint cans and other things and light bulbs and batteries, all that stuff.
Everything.
Yeah, this one on the 21st is for papers only, and I believe, I'm not sure.
No,
Well, I don't know. There's also paper shredding Tacoma. Often between all the street festivals and farmers markets and stuff, there usually is once or twice a year paper shredding, but the days don't always, I'm usually, the days aren't often compatible for us, the dates.
Okay.
But Tacoma Park does some shredding. I think, I don't know if the Seventh-day Adventist Church that does it or someone does it.
Thank
Well,
you.
maybe they'll bring the first Saturday at Fort Totten back sometime.
Thank you.
Yeah. What other questions do folks have? It's nice to just kind of hang out as a group too. There.
I would like the information that you gave before, regarding where you got your little gadgets, all your supplies from, Judy.
Oh, well, maybe what probably the easiest thing is for Shelley to email the little
List.
document, my products list to everyone who attended. So
I
you can
can
have,
also, let me see if I can pull it
Well-
up and I can
oh yeah.
show a little bit of it on the screen, but let me pull it up. It'll
Yeah,
take-
because there are different places. It took me
Right.
like the calendar I order from an office supply company, the pencils, I think are pretty readily available, maybe from Staples. The erasers were the kicker. They were the hardest to find. And you don't have to have a pretty eraser, but I like some entertainment when I'm working hard. So
hang on
What was
just a
that
second.
little thing you were using? You said it was a shredder.
this, okay. Yeah, I will say a little bit more about this. Right there.
Oh,
Now, here's the thing about there are a number of different companies that make these rollers. And Goldilocks that I am, I tried a couple of different kinds. This is the one that I like the best. Their website is a teeny bit confusing. I don't know why it has to be confusing. But it's the wide, this particular one is the wide shape as opposed to regular. I just like the width of the roller better. And again, after a while, I'm a little bit of a princess when it comes to the papers. It's just like, let me have the tool that I want. It is probably much more cost effective in the long run to own a shredder and to shred the papers. But if you don't have a shredder or your name is just in one place, you don't want to use this kind of a roller for the entirety of a medical document. You're just wasting a lot of ink, and you should set the paper aside for actual shredding. So is that helpful? Then the retractable Sharpies, okay, little princess that I am. There's regular ones and ultra fine. Depends upon how you write, and I use the ultra fine for labeling file folders. I use the wide one for boxes all the time. Which, by the way, I write on a Post-it note. I do not write on boxes. I feel like it's really easy to just tape a Post-it note on a box, and you put it on the end or the side and not the top, so you can see boxes that are stacked. And I like the wide one because I can see my writing from farther away. So if that helps a little bit. The erasers, there used to be other ones that were cute enough to be entertaining, and they're really, really, really hard to find now. So I was like, that's it. Can't find any but that. That file, the bin, I have one right here. In the document, you'll see that it's gray because I couldn't get it to, you couldn't see it on the page if I didn't use the gray one. It's like, okay, let me put a transparent or translucent one on, can't see the photo. So these can be helpful perhaps for action papers before you've done something with them. Maybe they're sitting on the top of your desk and you have a couple of file folders in it, and you can just find it, pick it up, make a phone call, pay something, get rid of the papers, move along. So you can use this as like a holding place. Or it could be on a shelf, and it could be a particular category of type of papers. These are from the Container Store, but there are probably other ones. And I think it originally cost $6.36, but I wouldn't swear that that's still the current exact price. My calendar. Oh, and by the way, while we're at little bins, you know, it is possible to find small, really small trash cans, skinny, really skinny. So why? Because they work and they don't take up so much space, not because it's anyone's coming from a magazine to take a photograph of your house. You want the product that does the job. So little skinny trash can, and maybe a second skinny one in a different color. One is trash and one is recycling. I sometimes, when I'm working with clients, I will take a reusable bag and put shred in there, unless they have a lot, and then it goes in a box. But the reusable bag may be a really tough, really pretty one. So I can instantly see that the pretty one looks like something more permanent. And the recycling might be in a little trash can, or it might be in the brown grocery bag from, you know, Trader Joe's or one of those. Brown is environmental, pretty is special, like that. You can get the idea of how it helps you. Every small tool that helps you then ultimately makes it easier to manage papers. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go back to the form.
Yeah, and then I can show, I waxed on about the file folders. Okay, the truth of the matter is that right next to where I'm sitting, I do in fact have a couple of pretty folders. Okay, I said don't color code. It's like don't go out and color code just because you think that's going to help you. One of these is all of my passwords. The other one has a little bit of address information that I need. I have another one relatively close by where I manage all my receipts. So you can see if you just have a couple of them and they're special, then you can remember what they are. The trick is not to get very exotic. Sure, you could use a green folder for bill pay, because we think of green as money. You could use a red folder for things that are incredibly important that you just have got to get them done. So you can do some for sure, and it can be helpful. It's just when you go overboard, it ceases to have any meaning at all.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to show you my calendar.
Oh,
So
hang on just a sec. Okay.
everyone does this completely differently. I personally need a calendar I can carry with me. Some of you may have a calendar on the wall at home, or you may use a small calendar because it meets your needs. To me, a calendar is part of the way that I manage papers and then everything else, because I have appointments. And I needed a calendar that's lightweight, that fits in my bag, where I can see a whole month, because I can't think if it's not the whole month. And then I wanted it's the way that I think. And I forgot to say, you all might already be awesome and way ahead of me in doing this all on your phone. So if you are, like, congratulations. So I had to pick this so it has lines, and I can see the difference kind of between the morning and the middle of the day and the evening. I say all this to you because the way we plan can affect the way we manage papers. They're all related to each other in the end somehow. And I use a pencil in my calendar.
Hmm.
I can easily erase and change without scratching everything out. Again, this is information management as much as paper. This calendar is also available in a kind of a the next one up is the same one, only it has tabs for the months, and it's hard bound. And Goldilocks, too heavy for me. It's way too heavy, and I can't stand it. But
Faith
functionally, it's great. There you
Faith
go.
has written in and said, I'm helping my father stay organized, and I'm using a digital calendar paired with Alexa that will automatically read out upcoming events. So
Wow,
technology,
that is fantastic.
it's great.
Yeah, that's brilliant. That is brilliant. All right, so
Go
enough
back
of
to the resource
supplies.
page, hang on here.
And then at the very bottom is the banker's boxes. You know, for an organizer, it just might be next to my calendar. Well, these are actually all my key supplies. But I use banker's boxes all the time because I'm organizing things and then getting maybe a permanent container, or I'm organizing and moving them around, or I'm carrying things in a banker's box because they have handholds, carrying them to donation. So they're quite wonderful, and they can be used either short-term or long-term for papers as well.
Mm-hmm.
They come in a pack, and you can assemble them yourself. So
it's great. Yeah. What I like is the way that you these supplies and things help us set a mindset that is more positive. So they all work together.
absolutely. I think that sometimes the challenge with organizing is that it's such a mountain climb, because we don't either have the right tools, or we don't have things close at hand, or we have too many things close at hand, anything of that sort.
Yeah. Anne has raised her hand. She's not on
Beautiful.
camera, but can we hear you, Anne?
Yes. Can you hear me? Good. Yeah, thank you. I switched to my phone, so it's a little easier. I find you mentioned that thing about setting aside things to read, like newsletters and things you bring
Yeah.
back from conferences and stuff. It occurs to me that maybe after 3 months or something, you should just dump that pile because you haven't read that stuff. So, and then it gets old. Do you have any recommendations about that pile of to read?
Well, I would say that the things to read can be as much of a minefield as either just other things in our home or charitable solicitation requests. And I think partially it's whatever sweet rule you can offer yourself to help yourself. I would agree that you could say 3 months, you could choose a time every 6 months to review that README. I mean, I would support any kind of decision like that. And I know that it can be very difficult for people. And then it depends upon who you are and what README things you have. If you're subscribing to even one magazine, but maybe there's a whole bunch of them, and so then they're all piled up too. And whatever, again, kind of soft rule you can choose. I think rules, again, as long as a rule is adopted with a sweetness of heart and not because you're a bad person or you're trying to get the universe to be mean to you, then the rules can be a little bit amusing. And then amusing is really good. Good, good, good. Anything that's amusing is good. So if you need a rule that says 3 months, you just have to decide, well, when is 3 months? Are you going to review once a month to see which ones are 3 months old? Is the first Saturday of every month going to be review day? Whatever it is. And then you could say, oh no, today is review day. And then you do it because you have a bit of a lightness of spirit. Or you could review all your papers once a year, or I'm sorry, that's a vague answer.
Okay, it's okay. It's
I
interesting
would
to hear
support
you.
anything that helps you to feel like you have the structure that you need. And what you might do with regard to some conferences, maybe what you are doing is you're reviewing it maybe once a month, and you're just keeping the top 3 pieces of paper that you really did need. And then they get filed either under that profession or you keep track of events somehow, and they're off the README into they're filed. And they are likely to be archived in the archive zone unless it's your main profession. Maybe they're in the reference zone. So yeah.
Good.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thanks.
Or in fact, they might be that the way that you manage the thing that you're calling your office, whatever that is, maybe you have some files on shelves, and one is for the particular topic area or association, and 1 or 2 pieces of paper from that event go in there. So it's a bit personal, and you can see it depends on what you need it to be.
Yeah. Great. What other
Thank you.
questions come up? Carol, or is there anyone who hasn't spoken
yeah.
yet? Just real quick. Okay, well, we're happy to have Carol.
Okay, so you mentioned about shredding papers, medical and financial papers. Are there any other kinds of papers that really need to be shredded? What if like utility bills or something? Is there any reason?
Well, that is a financial paper. Anything yes, you should shred utility bills because it has your name and account. So if it's anything that's got your name and an account attached to it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you really should be shredding those. And of course, you didn't ask me how long to keep the utility bills, and I said you should ask somebody else, but I will add here that with regard to utility bills, typically people might keep them for 1 year. Perhaps they want to review or see if 1 month compared to the other. But because utility bills do not inform your taxes, they aren't a financial document that you must keep a lengthy record of. But I would also always say that even in this digital age that we live in, you should always have at least one of each utility bill. So whenever you might ever need to, you can go, yeah, I am your customer. You should always, always have that. Or if something happened to you and someone else needed to sort of help out a little bit, and they just didn't even know what your Pepco account number was, or they couldn't help out at all because you don't have any paper trail. Does that help a little bit, Carol?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Just a comment here. One of the most valuable things that I invested in was a shredder. It enables me, you know, to deal with paper that I don't need the moment it comes in. And, you know, there's no backlog. You know, the longest I hold on to something that I don't need that needs to be shredded is a week. So it's well worth the money.
And with regard to buying a shredder, I will add just a couple of details, which is that it is typically said that you think you're not shredding very much, but you want a shredder that's a bit on the robust side. So you want one that says it does more than 12 pages at a time, because the less number it will handle, the less robust a piece of equipment it actually is. So you want it to do a little more than you think you're going to do. And you can look, you may see that it can also shred credit cards or plastic. And that can be super handy. So when you get a license renewed or you get your new credit card, you can just shred the old one. Not required, but again, if it says it's going to do that or would do that for you, it was already more robust.
That's great.
So,
Faith
oh,
wrote
and
in-
one more thing about shredding. I don't know that anyone buys these anymore. You don't really want a shredder that just shreds straight up and down. It's just as easy to buy one that is called cross cut. You do not need a confetti shredder. It's just, you know, whatever you have is just, you don't need it. And I will say the one thing I don't know, it used to be that you could not put shredded paper in recycling. That is only because of the machinery, but I am not entirely sure if it's in DC or Montgomery County that you can put.
That is true. That is true in DC. Shredded
Okay.
paper goes in the trash.
Okay, because I think in Montgomery County, you can put all the shredding in a paper bag and staple it, because they have the equipment now to manage that fact. It's an equipment issue.
It's helpful. Faith wrote that another reason to keep at least one utility bill is so that you have proof of residency
Yes,
without
absolutely.
having to download something.
Absolutely. You should absolutely have that. You should always have, I mean, at some point you should get one bank statement, one credit card statement, even if you do all that online, in my opinion. You want to be able to lean back and know that you can waive something at somebody if you needed to. Yeah.
Yeah. If you need to call them for some reason too, it's good to have the bill, at least one bill with you.
It can be helpful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What other questions do folks have? Anything that was surprising or especially helpful that you are thinking about now? You can take yourself off mute.
Or anything that you're not quite sure what to do with. So I can tell all of you are really awesome at managing your papers. I have a lot of clients, I will say a lot of this is from my client work. I have a lot of clients, the paper comes in the door and the mail just gets put down on the dining room table, and 3 days later or more, it's in the way and it's just all blurred together and all stacked up. Ditto, the addresses are on envelopes and they're not in the one place for all the addresses. And And there would theoretically be nothing wrong with it. It's just that it causes a headache. Yeah. And our only goal with all organizing is to make your life as easy as possible. Yeah.
That's a good goal.
Yeah.
What other questions are coming up? Thoughts or comments?
Yeah. Or things to explain to each other.
I may have muted you and you may not know it, so that's the only other factor. Also, we're interested to know what are some of the other house review type topics that would be most helpful for our community.
Yeah, that is a very good question. I would love to know what other parts of your house you might like tips and tricks about handling review or organizing them.
Kitchen.
Okay. Oh, I love kitchens. Yeah. All right. So kitchen. When the topic is house review, again, the funny, the sweet invitation you offer yourself is just to just walk over to, you can call it the pantry or anywhere where the food is. Just walk over to that, open the cabinet, just review every can and bottle, find out if they're expired or not. And then go, oh, now if you are in the mood to spend, usually you can't get any kind of organizing done in less than about 45 minutes because you don't get your mind into it yet. The idea, the small things, the 5 and 10 minute things, it's not usually organizing. That is usually just make your bed, wash the rest of the dishes that were there, put a few things away. That's the 5 and 10 minute type organizing. And I do believe in that. And I do that before I leave the house every day. Why? Because when I come home, the bed is made and the dishes are dry. Woo, it's so wonderful. So the things I might not want to do, I do them before I go. So it's a gift to me when I got back. But with regard to getting back to the kitchen, so you could either, you're the one that's going to know if you need to put on a radio program to keep yourself anchored, or the TV or some music, just anything. If you need an anchor, use one. If you, or you put an alarm on your phone that says 45 minutes, maybe, just make sure you left enough time to finish what you were doing. If there's something you're throwing away, take the time to put it in the trash. Or if you were going to donate it, put it in a box. So you don't leave more mayhem in your kitchen than when you started. So just reviewing every shelf and go, what do I have? Oh, I don't eat that anymore. Wow, that's expired. Oh, I love that. I forgot I had it. Or maybe you just look at the pantry and you take a few minutes while you're working slowly to put the soup all with the soup, and the thing with the ingredients all with the ingredients, and the pasta all together, and then the other grains. Not because, again, you're trying to get a magazine award, but just because it makes your life easier. Spices, spice is the whole thing because they're all different sizes and then they don't fit anywhere. And some people like them alphabetized, some of them like them by flavor groups. Suffice it to say, they don't last more than, I'm sure you'll all tell me, 2 years, maybe, so you don't want to keep them hanging around forever. If you don't remember when you used it last and you want some, go ahead and get some more. Then with regard to the gadget drawers, everyone has them. Don't panic. They're wonderful, but sometimes they get a little out of control. You can take a box top or something. This is why I like my banker's boxes. I take the top, take everything out of the drawer, put it down, and then go, hey, what's here? If you leave it in the drawer that's very crowded, you can't think and see in the same motion. If you take it all out of the drawer and just put it in the box or box top or something, you go, and then you can move things around a little bit while you're looking at them and go, oh, I'm going to put the toothpaste back in the bathroom. I'm going to put I didn't remember this was here. I'm going to go put it in that room. And you're just going to refresh. You're just refreshing that drawer. Everyone needs a junk drawer. Don't panic. I don't know anyone who doesn't have one. And you kind of need them because you kind of needed a screwdriver and the Scotch tape in the kitchen in that drawer because you really do use them now and then, and the scissors, right? Maybe the pruning clippers. I don't know. So feel free to take the stuff out, review it, and put it back. It's very refreshing, and that's how you kind of get back in touch with, it's like meeting old friends again. Oh, you're there. So you can do that with every drawer. Some are more crowded than others. You can do it with every shelf. When you do a shelf in the kitchen, you're going to stand back and go, you might need a step stool. This is when you might also reckon with some facts. Those things are so high. I don't have the right step stool. I'm going to be in danger. I need not to have them up there. It's okay that they're up there because somebody else is going to pull down the Christmas or Thanksgiving things for me later. Just think it through. Go ahead, have a little conversation with yourself. And then there's the category of it was my mother's, and I don't care if I can't reach it because I can't live without it. It's just up there minding its own business. When you open the cabinet, you can see it. That's fine. With regard to a step stool, you want to be very, very, very sure that you have something that's very, very safe and very, very lightweight. So you can get it, use it, fold it if it's a foldy type, and slip it away somewhere really close by. Don't fool around if the thing is too high or too dangerous or too wobbly or too old or too anything. I can talk to you another time about step stools, but there are a lot of very good ones that have very tall handles. So when you stand on it, you can actually lean against something a little bit. So then you're reaching. So never go short on safety. Safety, safety, safety. Very important. Ditto, you might have things in a lower cabinet that you just can't reach anymore. Your back hurts or something. So it's okay to just review one section at a time, nice and sweet, and see if you can just refresh the whole point of it all. And I can say more about kitchens anytime because I love, 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 love them.
Yeah, Rima, we got a couple questions. Rima, did you have something you wanted to respond or ask?
Yeah. You've hit upon something. It has to do with safety and storage. I am all of 4'11", and I think that's stretching it a bit. What that means is that a lot of the shelving that I have in my house is virtually unusable. So, at some point we have less storage space, not because it's not there, but it's designed for a quote unquote normal person, whatever that is. And I've gotten terribly creative. And sometimes that's still not enough. It's just a comment. I don't even know.
Yeah, it's absolutely a fact of, it could be that you're short, it could be someone, their back hurts, it could be someone in over the years becomes using a walker, can't climb on a step stool, or just need to sit down a lot, or is in a wheelchair. All those different circumstances can change. And theoretically, one might wish to own only what will fit in the reality zone, but other things might fit in a zone where someone can help you the twice a year you need something. So it is a balancing act, and at least primarily the goal to be super mindful of safety and very realistic about what you can and can't and should or shouldn't do, so that at least your life goes well. This is true for everyone in all these circumstances.
Yvonne reminds us she has a hand grabber that's helpful
Yes.
when organizing shelves, and it comes in handy, she said, for reaching behind things as well.
Absolutely. Interesting. When I
Yeah.
retire, I'm going to design one of those, because the only thing I would say about those grabbers is, as fantastic as they are, they tend not to have the handle doesn't really have a hook or a place to make it behave, and you usually have to add a kind of a rope or a thing so you can put it over a door handle or hook it onto something. People, they can become a really, really wicked trip and fall hazard, which is ironic because they're meant to be so helpful. So grabbers are great, but do be careful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shelley.
Sure. Yvonne, do you want to come off? You had some other thoughts?
Well, I'm trying to eliminate surplus advertisements and mail that I find useless as I receive it.
Yes.
Because I'm a paper monger. That was, I guess, my career. And so I thought that everything on paper was valuable. So I'm unlearning that.
Brilliant.
And then I get a magazine. If you happen to order from a catalog, remember to shred that information that's contained inside, because very often you're pre-approved for credit. So I try to make sure I shred that information, not only the information on the back of the catalog, but the information sometimes inside. And all of them don't have that information inside. But if you're pre-approved for credit and someone were to obtain that, they might, order things pretending it's you. So look inside these magazines when you get them, and eliminate that information if you're pre-approved for credit. So just wanted to share that. And thank you, Judy, for the information.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to add one thing about catalogs and solicitations. So it's not that easy to get off those lists, though there is the Direct Marketing Association, DMA, and there used to be something called Catalog Choice. But you can, a good tried and true is to call the one that you decide you don't want, is get on the phone and call them. But the tip is, not only do you tell them to take you off their mailing list, you can also add, please do not, let's see, what was the language that I was taught? Please do not include me in any sales or exchanges of lists. That is supposed to be code speak for the next time whoever that is just turns around and starts buying lists, which is what they do, or
Yes.
exchanging them, then you come right back up on their list because you're on somebody else's list. So I was taught that at one point, to say those words along right when you're telling them to take you off. And
That's good information. I hadn't thought of that, but I know if you order from one catalog, you suddenly begin to receive 5 or 10 from other
you can tell
companies.
them not to include you in exchanges or purchases of lists. So I hear.
Thank you.
That's great. Faith wrote a little earlier, she said she's working on a home cleaning schedule as well as a home maintenance one. So kind of setting up systems, it sounds like, for these.
Yeah. And I'm sure maybe she will teach us at some point, but time management and papers are, because you need some time to do your papers, they kind of go together, don't they? And because doing papers is only one of the things we need to do in our day or in our week, then it falls into a kind of time management. And I think the trick to time management is always schedule, never schedule after, like at the end of the day or after. Try to schedule whatever the activity is before you have to leave, before you have an appointment, before something's fun that you actually want to see on TV. You can listen to the TV while you're doing the thing, but you can't watch it. So always remember that rewards, we all love rewards. And then the other thing about time management they say is to spread out all the different tasks that you have and try to calibrate it to the amount of time you're willing to devote to like home. So this is dealing with papers, this is vacuuming, this is dusting, whatever. So be kind and be balanced, and then try to stack rewards on the back side of all of it. Because we do all need that.
Yeah. Don't forget to celebrate.
Yeah, and it's just something small. I mean, just sitting down with a cup of tea is called a reward. It's not, it doesn't have to be fancy or complicated or expensive.
Great. Any last burning questions? We're getting close to the end. Any ideas for other topics for sessions we might do in the future?
I would love to know what other kind of organizing challenges any of you have anywhere in your house. You're welcome, Faith.
Oh, good. You can see these things. Okay, good. Judy has given us a lead for a potential speaker who may be able to help with photographs, managing that. And so just stay tuned. We're trying to see. It actually looks like it would need to be a webinar that we would do either in the evening or on a weekend. So we're wondering if that is something you could imagine wanting to do at 7 p.m. on a weeknight, or would prefer to do on a Sunday afternoon. Can people give us just a minute's feedback on that?
She's a wonderful speaker. A colleague of mine who is a professional photo organizer, and I heard her do a presentation a few months ago, and her presentation is very manageable. Since again, like all other aspects of organizing, photos is a huge topic.
Great. Some folks are writing in. Some say weeknight for me, Sunday afternoon for others. So I think we will maybe be testing out some ideas and seeing if it works. There was a medical device webinar that another village did yesterday that was at 7 o'clock at night, and 40 people did show up for that evidently. So there, I think 100 people signed up though. But 40 people evidently were there. So, you know, we're all learning on the steep learning curve. Someone asked if it's okay, if it's possible to get the slides, and I'm happy to make those available if Judy says.
Sure, that's fine. I also don't know if any of you, you know, need help with closets, clothing in closets. That's often, you know, a kicker in my clients' homes. You know, kitchens are a thing, papers are a thing, closets are a thing. And then I suppose separately is kind of, you know, I call it separate because it's just the stuff that's over there in the rooms or in the basement, or just things. And so that can be, we'd have to have a better name than that, but maybe we could call it the things that lurk.
Well, maybe we should do that in October, you know, around Halloween. You know, it's like the things that are lurking around.
I don't know. If we're going to do that, it would really be nice if all of you would email, say, to the village, what things are lurking that are causing you to sweat when you think about dealing with them.
That's great.
That would be funny.
Let me do this. I want to thank Judy for being our speaker today, for being such a wise and wonderful organizer and just sweet person who lives in our neighborhoods.
Thank
And
you, Shelley.
I'm going to stop the recording now, but thank you for being here. Rima, you've got your hand up. I'm gonna stop the hang on.